Jarrell Moore has been named Vice President and Chief Diversity Officer for Burger King. And when I was given this, I know your bio by heart, by the way, because he's a Gamecock Gator. It's a problem. But he did attend undergrad at South Carolina State, and also is a lawyer, which I did not know until I saw his bio. But he came to Burger King from Mass Mutual and has been at Nike, and where he served as the Diversity, EEO, and Affirmative Action Officer at CSX, who's someone I've represented before. So we have a lot to talk about, and I'm going to be quiet and bring up Mr. Moore. Welcome to South Florida as well.
So good morning, everyone. How are we doing? Good. I'm very happy to be here, and I'll tell you, it's a blessing to be in a room full of African-American business owners, thought leaders, and people that are making a difference in corporate America. The one thing I want to do is I want to give a plug for Bill, because in just the short 3 months that I have been at Burger King, I have seen the best of the best, and I have seen the worst of the worst as far as organizations that want to speak on behalf of not only African Americans, but all types of different interests. And the one thing I'll say in the very short time that I've known Bill is that he instantly got to work on behalf of not just African American business owners, but good business owners. And the other thing that I've learned about South Florida is that fashion is very expensive. And for $3,000, that's probably 2 pair of these red bottom shoes that sisters wear. You know how I'm saying that? So if you can't give this brother three grand to get help get this business going, yeah, some of y'all doing like this. So let's go ahead and let's get this thing going. Yes, I did call you out, and I'll be calling you out today. So what we're going to do, you know, this will be a 2-part conversation. I'm going to do the Burger King commercial, because that's why I'm here. And then I'll just spend some time talking to you just about some observations that I've just made throughout my career. So Hutch, you know, in helping me out, part of my charge in working at Burger King, I have a variety of things that I'm supposed to be doing. Chief Diversity Officer, I have responsibility for Burger King's diversity and inclusion efforts. I have responsibility for our community affairs efforts, corporate sustainability, business development. It's a lot. But one piece of that is to grow our minority franchise base. As most of you probably know, most quick service restaurants, which in our world is fast food, we over-index to African Americans. And at Burger King, we believe that our business ownership should reflect the customers that we serve on a daily basis. Also, we know that in communities of color, you normally see a Burger King and some of our competitors on our corners, and we believe that we should empower the people that we feed. And not just empower, you know, through having the restaurants there, but, you know, our owners. So as Bill talked about, from a construction standpoint, and what I want to move away from is just having one story. I've met some brothers here who own large construction companies, who have construction companies that service, you know, large projects, and, you know, I've even met some brothers that are trying to get to scale, you know, as far as moving to the national level. And so what we're trying to figure out from a supplier diversity standpoint at Burger King is how do we help companies grow as we grow. So, you know, today what I want to talk about is, you know, where we are as a company currently, because it's my understanding that, yeah, 3 years ago we went through some changes, and it's no secret. So how do we let people know first that, yes, we are still in South Florida, we're not leaving Miami, and then what are we trying to do going forward in the future? So this won't take but a few minutes. I'll just spend some time going over these sections right here. You know, an overview, what's my quick strategy, where are we going from a development standpoint, what are we doing to get people in business, and then how do you become a franchisee? And I'll tell you what my 2 goals are from a business standpoint. Franchising isn't cut out for everybody, let's be honest. But, you know, I do have a goal to leave here with leads. You know, there may be somebody that's in here who's been trying to figure out how to become one. There may be someone here who knows someone that wants to, you know, get into a franchise system or become a restaurant owner. And when I talk about that, I'm not talking about one restaurant. I'm talking about how do we grow to scale and become multiple restaurant owners. And then the other piece of this is that as I see networking, you know, we have to move past the point of just taking business cards. You know, I've introduced a young man to an attorney who happens to be in commercial real estate. This young man owns an energy company. You know, we got to get past networking and really get into connecting and having some business grow out of this. So Hutch is a great connector. So how do we really lead with some results from this breakfast? So let's make this a working breakfast. So this is our vision. And the one thing that I always tell people about Burger King, because they don't quite understand our model, because they talk about the way we market, we want to be the most profitable QSR business, period. I mean, that's what we're in it to do, make money. And a lot of business owners that I work with, I'm not sure that they understand that. Through a strong franchise system, great people, and serving the best burgers in town. You know, when people compare us to our competitors, they say a lot of bad things about Burger King, but we never get knocks on our burgers. So we know we have a great product. We're working on our service, and I'll talk about that. But, you know, profitability, and you'll see through our numbers, we have truly become a very profitable company. We have a very good business model, and we're working to not only make that sustainable, but to continue to grow in our network. Burger King's been in business for almost 60 years now. You know, we're in 86 countries with 13,000 restaurants. We are publicly traded. We're the second largest fast food hamburger chain. But most of you who are from South Florida, you know that Burger King's been through a lot of ownership changes. We've been taken private several times. But through all of that change, we're still, you know, number 2. And that's, for me, I feel very strong about that. That's why I decided to choose the company. A lot of growth when we look at our network sales. We actually grew last year by almost 500 restaurants. And we paid a dividend, you know, to our shareholders. And when we look at where we've grown from a company standpoint in just 3 years, the private equity firm 3G that purchased Burger King has added tremendous value to every company that they've taken private. For those of you who don't know, 3G is the same company that purchased Anheuser-Busch, which is now Ambev, returned tremendous value to its shareholders. They're also the same company that just, along with Warren Buffett, and Warren Buffett doesn't do business with just anyone. A month ago, they just purchased Heinz, you know, yes, the ketchup company. So we feel like we're in very good hands from a partnership with 3G. And, you know, the proof is in the pudding right here with what we were able to accomplish at, you know, by the end of 2012 and where we're looking to go. We successfully, that second bullet point from the bottom, we successfully refranchised over 800, almost 900 restaurants in our system. So as Bill and I were talking about, you know, growing with the refranchising, we're also remodeling restaurants. And that's a great business opportunity when we talk about construction and supplier diversity. So for me, so what does Jarrell focus on? I have 4 key areas: workforce, supplier diversity, franchisees, and guests and community. You know, clearly, Burger King needs to look more like this room. I'll tell you, walking around, it doesn't look like that. When I was there for my interview, I said, I need to be here, because I didn't see a lot of guys walking around looking like me. Supplier diversity, we're doing decent, but we do have some opportunities there. Guests and community, you know, right now, I'm learning that fast food there's not a lot of customer loyalty. Like I talked about red bottom shoes, everybody knows about that. You know, the way we are with, you know, African Americans are about quality. Latinos are about service, you know, and I've worked in a lot of major brands, but guests and community is very different, and we have a lot of work to do on the community side of the house. And then with franchisees, it's really my commitment, and I've actually set, you know, a very high percentage for me to grow my minority franchise base in 2013, and we're going to drive that around our operational pillars, which I'll talk about. So what is Burger King focusing on as a company? Marketing. You know, we have to do a better job. So, you know, we have a new line of commercials that we just rolled out in the last couple of months. You know, we did a big David Beckham ad last year. Our menu, Burger King introduced over 50 new food items last year, and a lot of them tested very well. I know for me, you know, especially like in the African American community, everyone's asking me about the sweet potato fries. You know, why won't we make them a regular menu item? A lot of the wraps, a lot of the salads. You know, one thing that Burger King did for years is that they only targeted males between the age of 18 and 34. So we basically excluded women, mothers, older Americans, and that was a missed opportunity that some of our competitors were able to get ahead on. And so we've really worked to become more inclusive from a menu offering standpoint, and I mean, we have been just tremendously successful. Our restaurant images, I actually passed one of our older restaurants coming in this morning with the blue tops. If you look here at the bottom left, and I'll talk about this with our franchising opportunities, these new concept stores are giving us tremendous value as we do remodels and new constructions. And then our operational efficiency. You know, when I worked at Nike, I was on our supply chain. And we learned at Nike that our brand, we made a lot of money just from a brand standpoint, but when we moved to supply chain excellence, that's really where the value started to come in. And the same thing's happening with Burger King as we move to some operational excellence and efficiency. So these are our 4 key focus areas. And so for me, as a Chief Diversity Officer, I have opportunities for each of these, like from a menu standpoint. As we look to make sure that we're providing value to African Americans, so how do we make sure our menu speaks to, communities of color and women? I had a sister approach me at an Urban League event, and she said, Jarrell, you guys don't do anything like McDonald's, y'all don't have salads, and I'm trying to lose weight. I said, what are you talking about? But then what she was letting me know was that our advertising wasn't reaching her. And she fit our profile. So, I think that there are things that we can do and that we're working to do to make sure that we're, speaking to our customer base. These are 3 things that you're probably seeing commercials on right now. In the last 2 weeks, I moved to your far right. We're getting a lot of press, with our new turkey, our new turkey burger, veggie burger. And for us, if we can be in the news in a positive light, it's very, very good for our franchisees. As a matter of fact, we didn't expect this, but we haven't had a shortage yet. But let's just say there's a demand for our turkey burgers right now. And our premium beverages are testing very well in communities of color. African Americans, there's something about African Americans and smoothies that we've just found something that just tests very well. And so for our franchisees, it's something that's really a huge hit. And so these are 3 huge business opportunities that we're driving, and then breakfast. I think a lot of fast food restaurants don't take advantage of that. And so how do you add, additional meal items? And yes, this is a big commercial, so I hope you guys are hungry. Okay, so let's talk about why I'm here. Okay, so traditional development. We are continuing to either remodel or build new Burger King stores. With the 3G acquisition, when we went out and did research, the feedback we got, especially and I'll talk about some demographic data, women are making the purchasing decisions these days. The mom decides what the family eats, and women don't want to eat in dirty stores. Those blue top stores are just not attractive, and what we found is that people were just driving by Burger Kings because they weren't desirable. And so as we started to just do remodels, parking lots clean, you got landscaping, it's just a square, cleaner feel. A lot of our franchise owners, and because I'm an officer of the company, I cannot talk about numbers. Let's just say that they saw very good returns on their investments. And we set up financing where the investments will pay for themselves. Some of the numbers are there. But that could be new construction or remodel. And so for us, we felt very good. And with our 7,000 franchises here in North America, we're seeing a goal to do about 800 to 900 remodels a year. So non-traditional development. So let's say I was looking to, if I wanted to, buy into Burger King, what are my opportunities? We work with gas stations, colleges. There are several colleges that we're either building on. We have a Burger King on today, or that we're talking to. Airports. We're talking to the airport right now. We have Burger Kings there. Kiosk malls. So there are several opportunities, and we're even looking at concepts to do like small kiosk, and I've seen some pretty dynamic things. So we're really looking to drive and push our brand in a very different direction and give potential business owners options to do some unique things with our brand and really to stay competitive. So incentives and financing tools. We have a great incentive program. We have franchise fee and royalty fee incentives. And really for us, the franchise fee and royalty fees, that's where Burger King, that's where we make our money. So to bring people in, we're willing to say, and incentives, that does mean discounts. So I'm just going to be very blunt with you. So what we're saying is, how do we, not only encourage, but how do we set you up to be successful? It means that what we'll do is we'll, on the front end and throughout, the first couple of years, we'll incentivize you by, basically us taking less. That's the simplest way to put it. We have been working on, and we're already pushing out to some of our new franchisees this equity financing program. That really, in some cases, there's zero initial investment, low risk to the operator, and it gives the operator in less than 5 years the opportunity to own their own Burger King. And now this is phenomenal. We have a young African American franchisee in Chicago that's moving through this financing right now, and You know, we're really excited about this. I had a call with the National Urban League yesterday. You know, I'm trying to work out a relationship with them to have them push this through their entrepreneurship centers, and hoping that we can take this national. You know, of course, there's traditional financing. We have great relationships. I'm talking to Black Enterprise to work with their BE100 top, you know, their top 5 banks. I want to bring in some national Black-led banks. And then, you know, we're currently considering Burger King financing. You know, I want to put, you know, African-American lenders and financial institutions in the mix, but we also want to put our money where our mouth is and make sure that we have skin in the game. So how do you become a Burger King franchisee? You know, there's pre-qualification. What do we like to see? You know, there's a net worth expectation of 1.5 million. We like you to be liquid with at least half a million in liquid assets. Are those in stone? No, they're not. But a lot of people ask, and I don't make it a secret, it's on our website. I always like to call out the franchise disclosure document that's on our website that every franchise asks that you read. We do a franchising interview, and we move very quickly with a lot of these conversations because just like job interviews, when we meet great franchise candidates, we really like to make sure that we get them talking to our development team, and then we take you through a selection process. When it comes to minority franchisees, you know, we handle them with care. You know, I'm out there. We have a couple of our team members that are really out working because you and I, especially business owners, just like great talent, everybody wants a job, but not everybody wants to work, right? So just like business ownership, everybody thinks they can own a business and run a business, but we know that that's not the case. You know, and one thing I've learned at Burger King is that we've given a lot of people some opportunities, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Y'all can fill in the rest. Okay? So how do I find out? Okay, I made that font too big. .com. It looked good on my computer. So we actually created a website, BeYourOwnKing.com. It's easy to remember. It'll take you straight to our questionnaire, our application, all that information. And that concludes, you know, my Burger King commercial. I'm going to take some questions in a minute. Hutch, how much time do I have just to...
Oh, you got another 5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay. Okay, so 5 minutes. So one thing I want to spend some time talking about now, you know, kind of outside the Burger King piece, is I was at a minority supplier diversity conference about 2 weeks ago, or about a week ago, 2 weeks ago up here in Broward, Fort Lauderdale, and had the opportunity to spend some time with some business owners and just got to ask some very candid questions about doing business with Burger King and just doing business overall. And last night as I was preparing my thoughts, I was just thinking about some things that I want to share with the room. Just business sense. You know, I may be young, but I've worked for some great brands, and I've just seen a lot of things from a brand standpoint. And you know, if I could just leave you with a couple of thoughts. First thing is that I didn't realize it until this week, but I've been raised around entrepreneurs my whole life. And it was such a great feeling, I was shocked. You know, my grandfather owned his own land, and he actually rented it to white farmers who wanted to come in and farm because Pop had gotten older. And I never knew that. And so I always thought my grandfather was rich, but I never knew him to have a job. So he was always selling and renting and doing certain things. And he kind of knew what his value was to the community. He was a builder. He was always building certain things. He was that guy in the community that kids came to his house and he sold sodas and cakes, and he was that guy, you know, older gentleman. And you know, it kind of got me to thinking to the exposure that I had from a family member standpoint. Both of my parents are entrepreneurs, but I never saw them as the entrepreneurs the way we see entrepreneurs today. And so I think about that because when I meet people that want to do business with the companies I've worked for, sometimes they can't put into words their value proposition. And so, you know, I heard a speaker once that at this conference, he talked about his uncle. And he said, well, my uncle was a business person, but he never said it. You know, he knew his value, but he could never convey it. And so, you know, what I'm thinking in today's time, you know, we move so quickly. You know, everyone has to be a commercial. And quite often, we miss opportunities because we can't tell people what our value is and what it is that we can do. You know, so quite often when people call us and they start asking us for our business or to, you know, bring them into our supply chain or for me to buy consulting fees for them, you know, I may know what it is that they want, but I may not have the time, or I know that I can't put them in a room with our executives. You know, and I'm going to put Bill on the spot here. As soon as I met Bill, Bill started talking business and results. And so I said, that's somebody that I can invest in because I know that every dollar I give him is going to give me a return. And so from a business standpoint, if you can't tell me what you can give me really, really quickly, then I'm probably going to move on. So a lot of times with business people, when I interact with them, they can't tell me that. They may tell me what the name of their company is, where they're located, but they can't tell me what their overall value proposition is. And giving me a list of the things that you do is not a true demonstrated value proposition.
That's right.
You know, telling me what ROI is, and I mean true ROI.
Right.
You know, you've got to be able to demonstrate if it's 10,000 or 10 million, I've got to know. Because quite often people will look at African Americans in decision-making seats, and then they'll get mad when we don't choose companies of color. When quite often the scrutiny is going to be heightened when we do choose. So, you know, the stigma is still there. Because that means that you guys are going to truly have to be able to demonstrate not only the ROI, but what's the extra that I'm going to get. So, you know, that's one thing I'm going to really be able to if I could leave with you, is that from a business standpoint, what's your ROI, what's your value proposition? I think the next thing is if you're selling potato chips, or if you're selling consultancy, if you're selling landscaping, what's the one thing you can tell me about myself that I don't know from a company standpoint? I love it when people show up and tell me things about Burger King, not what we used to do, but I'm talking about what's going on with us right now. I think a true business partnership from a consultancy standpoint is I'm paying for things that I can't do myself. You know, that's the honest piece. I looked up a Harvard Business Review article last night. I was trying to find something that I could share with you guys. And what I found is that what a lot of times people make the mistake of doing is that they just want to give you what they offer wholesale and not tailor to the business. So from a business standpoint, with everybody cutting dollars very, very quickly, cutting them at, you know, especially from a consulting standpoint, I even think about attorneys. You know, what is it that you can offer us that we can't go get ourselves, that the guy upstairs can't give me, that the guy downstairs can't give me, or the guy in the cube next to me can't give me? You know, what is it, you know, what's the extra? And a lot of times I tell people it's just like dating. You know, business is like dating. What is it about you that should make me choose you versus the next person at the bar? Or the next person in the next pew? You know, what is it? And you know, a lot of times when I tell people this, they look at me like I'm crazy. I mean, and I don't know if I'm stepping on toes, but I really want to help people get business here. Because people are so generic, especially with a lot of the consulting fees and a lot of the things that we're selling, it's easy to pick someone else. Because there's usually 9 people that look alike, and then there's one dynamic firm that comes in, and you're like, oh my gosh. And companies don't take the time to give feedback to help people understand. But because I work in diversity, it's my job to tell people some of this stuff. And firms of color quite often don't take the time to pay for the marketing, to pay for the executive coaching, and to get direct feedback by running their presentations against other people. And that's why I was excited about being here this morning, because I wanted to share some of this stuff with people. Because these are the things that usually make us miss out on a lot of the business that we should be getting. It's not the fact that we're African American. It's not the fact that we have a subpar product. It's usually that we can't tell people what our product is. And it's not because of poor communication skills. It's because we haven't put the investment into our product. You know, it's just like it's like a good-looking woman in a bad dress or a good-looking man in a bad suit. You gotta let that sink in. I'm being honest. So you gotta carry that. You really gotta carry that, because then you're saying to yourself as a company, if this person won't invest in their own business, what are they gonna do with my stuff? Right?
Right.
Okay. So just think about that. I mean, I'm a yard guy. I don't have one now. I live in a condo, but. I mean, if your stuff is raggedy, why am I going to let you cut my grass? I used to have hair. I always wondered about barbers with bad haircuts, right? So, you know, I know this stuff sounds kind of, you know, take it as you want it. But, you know, as I sit and I work with companies, you know, and I start to talk with them, especially as I want people to get our business. You know, I want to, because what Bill talked about, that's the value. That's the value. You know, I left financial services where we under-indexed to African Americans. They were not buying insurance, they were not buying financial services, and we were trying to convince our marketing team to go out and market to people. That's a hard case right there. To get somebody to market to people that don't buy your services is easy at Burger King, because black people are eating our food. So for me, I want to do business with companies in construction, in supply chain, in marketing, but you gotta be tight. So my last thing that I'll leave, and I learned this at Burger King in my first day there. Why are you in business? Are you in business because of your ego? Or are you in business to make a profit? Thank you.
My name is John Hall. I'm the managing member of Brickell Ventures LLC. This was an exceptionally well done presentation by not just the speaker, Jarrell Moore, but also the preliminary speakers and the post speakers. ICABA is doing a fantastic job of helping people connect with other synergistic businesses, and I'm really happy to be a part of it.
Hi, good morning. My name is Pascal Aschill. I'm an attorney with Panzamauer and Maynard, and I'm also a small business owner of MJ Sander LLC. I thought the breakfast this morning was awesome. It gave a lot of phenomenal information regarding owning your own business, growing your brand, and adding value to what you do in your pitch. I'd definitely be at the next one. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Wayne Messam with Messam Construction. The ICABA Business at Breakfast is an excellent opportunity for business owners, serious business owners, to come out and network and exchange information and business ideas and contacts with other serious business owners. I think it's definitely worth the investment of time. The quality and caliber of other business professionals that are here is a true environment for business owners to get together to talk about that next opportunity and to also to learn a little information from the presenters. I'm glad I came out today. I look forward to attending those in the future, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how our firm can add value to our potential clients and vice versa. So come on out to the next business breakfast, and I think you'll definitely be happy that you did.
Entrepreneurs are truly individuals who are constantly looking for opportunities, who are staying engaged in what's going on in the economic mainstream of a market, and they're constantly looking to find ways to make money. And it's not about, if you will, your ego. It's not about just something that you've been passionate about. Entrepreneurs are always looking for opportunities to make money. If you are an entrepreneur, then you really must be about staying engaged and staying informed. Thanks a lot for your support. Be on the lookout. Our next, if you will, ICABA Business at Breakfast will be May 10th, and you'll be getting information on that. But then following that on May 16th at Florida International University. So thank you very much. Drive safely and have a wonderful weekend.